Thanks to Clifford for the great question about whether, in my latest S5 video, about whether or not I would take the S5 to the Tour of Bright. If you're not aware, Tour of Bright's like the most mountainous VRS tour. And the short answer is that yes, I would obviously take it. Long answer is that I would take it because it may not be the best. Like the R5 would be much better for climbing on the S5 because it's sheer lighter. But I have to think about whether you have to think about how you're going to race it as well. Because the S5 is much better on flats, much better on descents, I feel anyway, just because the bike is lower to the ground, so it feels very nice descending on. And for the bits that aren't mountainous, the lumpy bits, the undulations, the S5 is faster by a lot. And aero bikes are faster than a lot of other bikes. And because I'll be racing in a team, and most likely I'll be sort of a domestic or roll-in or workhorse for the really light guys like Wheeeoool and Rossi and all those climbers. I'd most likely be spending a lot of energy to get into the breakaway, and there's a lot of flat roads on the Tour of Bright as well, a lot of foothills, so the S5 is a lot better. And for breakaways, the S5 is great because it's so much faster and you can save so much more energy, especially if you're riding the brake and making the race hard before the climbs. The S5 is the one to go. So I hope that answers your question, Clifford, whether I'd take the S5 in the mountain stages, just because my duty would be to make it really hard during the flat, lumpy downhills and the beginnings of climbs where it's flatter. So thanks. Alright, good. Aston Martys.
Yes.
Batch brews. They're pretty nice.
They're bloody good.
S5's over there. So, Aidan.
Yo.
Question is, how does the S5 climb and descend?
Really, really well. I feel like, well, the biggest thing is the confidence thing. And when you've got a very stiff bike, I feel like that plays into a lot of that confidence. So I'm definitely gonna say that it descends and climbs really, really well. I mean, sure, there's a little bit of extra weight in comparison to other bikes I've ridden in the past on my other team. But, I mean, and that plays an advantage because obviously the lighter the bike, the better it's going to go up a hill. That's great, especially if it's got disc rotors and stuff. But even still, the additional weight on the S5, it still plays out pretty well, and it's very stiff and everything's very smooth. So, yeah, climbing descends really well.
And aero.
It's.
Whereas, like some other bikes, they're sloppy. And you know, they flex a lot and you feel like you're wasting more energy out of the saddle thumping on those little short climbs than any other bike you've ever ridden. So like, purely because of the stiffness of the bike, I think that plays into what makes it so good on those short climbs. DJ Hall, back to you.
I'm half wheeling. I was half wheeling in two. I was half wheeling. I was like this. I was half wheeling.
Oh, wheel.
Wheel. So wheel is short for hold the wheel.
Yeah.
And why do we say wheel? Or wheel?
We say wheel because, you know, because we're special.
Half wheeling again.
Half wheeling again. He's just like, I'm constantly like this. Stop half wheeling.
Oh, mate. Years and years.
Sexy mama almost went. I feel like if it's during winter, it's the whole can of worms we're about to open up here, but like if it's during winter, it's so much fun because they give you some sort of goal to work towards. Motivated, and get some work, and I'm happy about it. And then here we are in the sunshine doing efforts and loving life. So yeah, really good. How's your efforts today?
If I slip off some of my ride, if I slip it off, does that make it 0 tier test?
Absolutely, yeah. You complete your ride, and then what you do, you get your fit file. You've got FIT file, you put it in, you skip her up, and then you just cut the duration off.
No TSS.
No TSS.
No TSS. Swapping off. We were swapping off.
We were.
Tell us about it.
It was really good actually. So we sort of cruised with a slight, I think it was a slight tailwind down towards Sorrento. And then we convinced our third rider, Tim, to come all the way into Sorrento because he had to turn early. And then we...
Didn't take him much to convince him though.
Not at all, not at all. It was good though. I like someone that doesn't take much convincing to do an extra, 15, 20k.
You fascist?
Yep. Anyway, we convinced him to come along into it, and then because Tim needed to get home fairly soon, we decided the best thing to do would be to swap off on the way home. And it was really good. Like I feel like TJ and I, and like Tim definitely contributed, so I'm not going to forget about him, but we really enjoyed just giving it a good whack and rolling some really smooth, steady turns. And it's amazing how much ground you can really make up when you're swapping off. Like it does make a difference. And yeah, it was just a good fun day all in all, hey?
Yeah, it was. It was good.